But I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you something that you reminded me. Has anyone ever asked you to define a trading edge? And could you share with us like your input on what a trading edge is?
For me, a trading edge is anything that you, within your, what I'll call it, inventory of view.
Okay.
I'll call it like a psychological or a personal inventory. And the personal
Okay.
inventory could cover things like your mental awareness, your self-confidence, your self-esteem levels, your ability to keep yourself balanced. All of those things would be in that area. There's other personal inventory items like I have computer skills. I was an engineer, so I could program in the early
Sure.
some of this programming I'm seeing done today, I'm clearly not at that level. And some of the cloud stuff I can barely understand. So I'm
Really?
just, I'm hanging in there, but I try to get people to help me when I need it. But the point I'm making is each person out there that becomes into the trading world has a knowledge of certain markets, a lack of knowledge of others, a different risk level, a different amount of capital, a different amount of time they can spend on the process, a different level of math and computer skills, a different list of contacts that you personally know that you could go and ask a question for. Like, me, you could pick up the phone or you could send me an email and I would answer your question. And
Sure.
so that's a resource you have. That's
Sure.
part of your inventory. When you package that entire collection of everything from how your strategy works and whether or not it has its own personal edge in the strategy, or whether it's your ability to be balanced all the time, or your ability to tolerate more risk than the next guy, all of that together becomes your collective edge, I believe. Edge to me is a little different than what typically systems traders talk about. This thing has a X%
Sure.
reliability
Sure.
on the positive side, and
Right. Right.
therefore
Right.
my edge is X%. I take that with a grain of salt because history and the future are always
Right.
different, as the old
I agree with you.
disclaimer says. And so I don't think of that as the edge. I think of it as the collective structure around each individual and what
Right.
they can bring, what they can improve within themselves, or their structure, or their inventory, so that they have what they need to pull it off.
And I feel like you said, strategy goes into that. Like, so the way that you're
It's
executing, that's just a piece of it. The edge is more
it's
than
a
that. And
piece of it.
I like that you mentioned like even resources, contacts, like that is a really important piece of the edge that I feel like a lot of people aren't thinking about, because like that is something to, when you are having a down period or you are struggling, or even when you're riding a high. I find it
Yeah.
too, like when I see guys winning consist 4 or 5, they ride a high, like they're on a 30-foot wave and they're on top and they're living, you have to
Yeah.
almost use the resources in that situation, just as when they're on a 30-day losing streak,
To
to bring them
drag you
up.
back.
Exactly. So you got to find, but that's your resources. So it's part of your edge.